I feel like nowadays it's like hard to be patriotic, like
Right.
to be honest. So like, what was kind of the difference from then to now? Because I'm sure that made like it a lot easier to be patriotic, and nowadays it's like you can't even really like be a proud American without people being
That's right.
like, oh, you're racist or you're
That's right.
this, you know?
That's right. I always tell people that the most patriotic that this country has ever been is September 12th, 2001. That is the most patriotic day of this country in its entirety. Because that day, this country became one. This country sold out of American flags. You could not buy an American flag. They could not make them fast enough. There was an American flag hanging on every house in this country.
Yeah.
It also was a different day. The Democratic Party was a different party than it is now. And Americans became one. You know, that was the most horrific attack we had seen ever on American soil. More horrific than Pearl Harbor. And, you know...
Have you went to the New York and like visited the memorial or anything?
I went to New York before the attack, so I remember seeing the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
I've been back to New York since, but I haven't had a chance to go to the memorial. I have visited Pearl Harbor, but it, you know, I try to explain to younger generations.
Because I was like 3 when that happened.
Right,
so I don't know.
right.
But I know when I was young, it was just easier in general to be patriotic.
That's right. I mean, you know, we had a President Bush came out immediately, you know, and said, we're coming for you, you know, and you saw strength. You saw strength in politics when that happened. And, you know, I personally, I mean, I was a senior in high school, and I remember that morning, and I sat on the couch with my dad. I was in the shower, and I was listening to the radio, and the radio talk show hosts were talking about it, and I'm thinking to myself, what is going on? What is going on? And I grabbed a towel, and I got out of the shower, and I ran to the landing, and I said, Dad, are we at war? What's going on? Well, this is back when people still read the paper, right? Yeah. So my dad's sitting downstairs eating a bowl of cereal, and he's reading the paper. And he's like, no, I'm reading the paper.
Yeah.
Well, the paper was printed the night before.
Right.
So I go and I get back in the shower, and next thing I know, the radio talk show hosts are crying. The second plane has just hit the North Tower. We are under attack. America is under attack. I shut the water off. I grab a robe. I come running downstairs. I said, Dad, we're at war. We are under attack. I said, turn on the news. And I sat there, my dad and I, and my dad is a former Marine, and just cried. Didn't know anybody involved.
Right, but you can just...
Just feeling that pain of being an American, and also very unknown. Every 5 minutes, another plane hit. Yeah. Hit the Pentagon. Hit the towers.
Yeah, you don't know if it's going to... What cities it's going to go to.
We were under attack. We were under attack as Americans. And, they grounded all flights. And I remember I was probably about an hour late to school that morning. And I got to school, Overland High School, senior year, and everyone was crying.
Right, yeah.
Everyone was crying. And these are teenagers,
Probably just couldn't even have a normal school day at all at that point. Yeah.
Some folks had family in New York that they hadn't been able to get a hold of yet because all cell phone towers were down, I will never, and cell phones weren't huge yet.
Then, yeah.
They were out, but it was the big brick Nokia phones, and not everybody had them. But like landlines were down, and I just remember so much unity And if you were to take a high school today versus when I was in high school, right?
Yeah.
At that time, being a senior, freshman, sophomore, juniors, and seniors, the day 9/11 happened. If you were to take that demographic and compare it to the demographic of students today in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, an attack like that was to happen on American soil, I don't know that you would get the same reaction.
Right.
I think this country has changed so much. Like you said, it's not just hard, but sometimes scary.
Right.
To say that you're proud to be an American.
Right. Yeah.
That you're proud of this country, that you're proud of your beliefs, that you would stand up, that you would go and fight for this country if you had to.
Right.
It has a stigma now.
Yeah.
And it didn't then.
Right.
Because then everybody was ready to go and fight. Everybody.
Right.
They could not enlist people fast enough. They could not enlist people fast enough. Everybody wanted to go fight for this country. You wouldn't see that today, would be my guess.
Right.
You just wouldn't see that today.
Yeah, I mean, I just generally speaking, like, I feel like no country's perfect. Every country has its flaws and stuff, but like, I'll never not be proud to be American. And but like you said, it's just so hard, like nowadays, to say it because it's like you said, there's just going to be some sort of stigmatism or assumptions.
You'll offend somebody.
Yeah, yeah. What was like one gem you picked up from the Air Force or the military after dealing with all that and stuff like that?
I think for me, it would be mental fortitude.
Mm-hmm.
I joined the military in 2004,
Yeah.
so 21 years ago. And I joined a very male-dominated career field.
Right.
In fact, I enlisted Marine Corps because I wanted to be just like my daddy. And the Marines were pushing me to go open general, and they wouldn't give me the career I wanted, which was to be a military police officer. They were pushing me to go open general. Well, anybody who's in the military knows, being pushed to go open general as a woman at that time, it would have ended up being in an admin position, a nurse, a cook, something like that.
Right.
So I ended up having to switch, even though I enlisted Marine Corps. I switched over to the Air Force because they let me enlist security forces. But a very male-dominated career field.
Yeah.
And
mental toughness from that.
Very much so. I was with the group, with the military police academy that I went through. And we started with roughly 120 in my class. And we started with about 20 women out of that 120. And out of that 20 women, I was only one of two women that were feminine. And we weren't really wanted there.
Yeah.
So I would say mental fortitude, and that has brought me so far in every aspect of my life, because owning bars is a male-dominated career field.
Right, yeah.
It's mostly men
Right.
that own bars,
Yeah.
right? Politics is very much a man's world. So being a woman, that mental toughness, that mental fortitude, it has carried me a long way.
That's good. Okay. Have you seen any like the conspiracy theories about 9/11? Do you have any like quick thoughts on that, or?
I've seen them.
Yeah.
I don't believe any of that. I believe that very, very bad people who are still the very, very bad people today that want to kill Americans,
Yeah.
and that want to kill Jews. We were attacked.
Right.
I mean, we were attacked. There was no inside job here.
Yeah.
I mean, we were absolutely attacked.
Okay, thank you. Just because I feel like, especially that conspiracy is just, it's so like long and so many people believe it. So I'm glad you.
Well, and the thing is the further you get away from a situation, more and more people forget.
Right.
More and more people get older that didn't know
Right.
about it, right? So, you know, you hear conspiracy theories about all kinds of things. Did we land on the moon?
I'm sure people have made some about you. I've heard some about me. So.
I mean, you know, it just, you know, I've heard them all, but
right.
I know I watched 9/11 happen real time.
Mm.
There was no conspiracy behind that. It was evil. It was pure evil and pure hatred.